What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Team FISHKNUCKLES YouTube channel. Today is Saturday, and it is going to be our last this week recording the Burning Shadows. This day, let's see, we did Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and now Saturday. So 5 days of Burning Shadows testing, and the last deck that we're going to feature this week is going to be the the Gardevoir GX versus a Speed Turtonator deck. Now, the Gardevoir GX deck was showcased off. I'll leave a link down below. We have seen this twice now. We've played it once, played against Greninja, once played against the Gallade Decidueye deck, and we have showed a somewhat of this Volcanion deck off. This is actually a different deck list. It's not too far off. I don't know the changes. By the time we recorded this, Tino had left and took his Turtonator deck, and somebody else had their own Volcanion deck, and he plays the Kiawe in his list. This is Chris versus Justin, so both players are playing new decks that they haven't played just yet, but we see Chris is going to use that Tapu Lele, gonna find Spaghetti Spaghetti, and gonna get 3 base Pokemon on his field. So he's having a phenomenal turn 1 that he wants. He wants to use that turn 1 Bridget. Gonna find 2 more routes and a Rim Raid, most likely, and try to get set up ASAP. But on Justin's side of the field, it could be very scary for Chris, because if Justin can find like a baby Volcanion, some Steam Ups, and he could take a knockout. Now, Justin's hand, not looking too good. I do see a Brooklet Hill, some Fire Energies, but I do not see a supporter card that I can think of. So Chris will find the 2 routes and a Rim Raid, that is the perfect turn 1 you want. Any Tangent Energy, he's looking good. As long as a Rare Candy Gardevoir, maybe a Octillery to use that Abyssal hand, he's going to be good to go. Be able to use that Secret Spring ability, get some energies into play, and we'll see what happens. So we'll probably just see a pass from Chris. Really can't do anything else. So on a Justin's turn, he gets a Volcanion out. He's got a Brooklet Hill. Going to use that Brooklet Hill to find a fire Pokemon, or water Pokemon. Sorry, it's fire fighting. So we see a fire Pokemon coming down, which is going to be the Volcanion EX. And if he has a Tapu Lele, he could go for the turn 1 Kiawe to get 4 energies on the active Turtonator. We saw Tino did this against Justin on the Thursday video, and it proved very devastating for Justin. It was easily able to take down Darkrai, and I wonder if the Fire will be able to do the same thing here today or not. So Justin's going to give a good shuffle, and we'll see what happens. So see a Fire Energy in Justin's hand. Will he attach it? Maybe use that Steam Up. Maybe try to go for the GX attack this turn. And that could be a possibility. He's got a Flowstone, a Switch. But does he have a supporter card? So we see a Fire Energy going to a bench Volcanion. No, we don't. Okay. I'm going to think about what he's going to do. Now, think with Gardevoir GX. He does have 230 HP, so he's a little bit of a monster to take down. So see a switch into the Volcanion EX. Okay. Yeah, 230 is very hard for Volcanion to deal with, but the Turtonator would have a better chance of taking it down because it could do 160, and that's where we might see the Fire Energy go, is to the Turtonator. And oh boy, Justin, he is trying to decide where does this Fire Energy go, and I think it does need to go in the Turtonator to try to get that powered up. And there we see that's actually not a Kikui. What that is actually is a Kiawe. It was a proxy for Kiawe, so that's why you see him grab the energies. It's up to 4, so he can grab up to 4 energies, put them on one Pokemon. He is going to put that on the Turtonator GX. So he's going to grab all 4. He's going to grab 4, put that on the Turtonator. And what this does is saying, hey, next turn I can swing with Turtonator. I can do 160 damage, and with a double Steam Up, he'll do an extra 60, so he will hit 220. So he would need to find 1 more Volcanion X, but he does have another Brooklet Hill to get another Volcanion out. And turn 1 Kiawe proven very, very strong right now. So on to Chris's turn. Can he have a good turn 2? We saw him have a good turn 1, and there's an Octillery. That's piece number 1. Does he have a Rare Candy Gardevoir in his hand? That'd be an amazing hand to have, because if he has this, that means he had a Tapu Lele, he had an Octillery, and a Rare Candy Gardevoir in his hand. That would be insane to see, but hey, I've seen some crazier stuff in Pokemon TCG for sure. So, we'll see Chris, he's going to decide what to do here. He does have a DCE hand. He can put down the active, but no, going to play in, which is good for Justin. I'm pretty sure he didn't have much in his hand outside of that Fire Energy. So he might have maybe I don't even know if he had Steve Up. He might have just like taken a knockout, maybe use a Shell Trap. That could have knocked out the routes. Yeah, so it would have been interesting to see what would happen there. Turtonator does have that Shell Trap attack. me see if I can pull it up real quick. Shell Trap, oh, it actually does 20. Sorry, would not have taken a knockout. But if he had 2 Steam Ups, he would have taken a knockout. So yeah, Shell Trap doing 20 and Bright Flame doing 160 damage. So Bright Flame is definitely the key attack here for Justin, but he will have to discard 2 Fire Energies when he uses his attack. But let's see what Chris finds off this end. Does he even find a rare candy Gardevoir GX or not? Once again, he does hit another DCE. He does have a Field Blower. He could Field Blower the way to Brooklyn Hill, but he might want to save that just in case he wants to get away Flowstones. But nope, just going to play it to get rid of the Brooklyn Hill. Maybe he wants to play his hand down so he can use the Abyssal Hand to draw a couple cards. He does have a DC in hand. With this DCE, he has an option. He could put this on the top of Lele maybe, and try to go for Energy Drive later on, or he could put on the active routes, and we see Choice Band going to the active routes, okay? And it's going to go full commit to these routes or not. It'd be a pretty risky play. Nope. Going to put a DC in that bench routes instead. And we're going to see a Abyssal Hand for 2, 1, and 2. And nope, I do not see a rare candy Gardevoir in his hand. And this is the problem with Gardevoir, is when you do not set up, you're definitely in trouble. But we see routes swinging here, doing 40 damage to that Volcanion. And Justin immediately draws into another Brooklyn Hill. But if he has 2 Fire Energies, he'll be able to use a Shell Trap, taking a knockout here. And he even gets a Baby Volcanion. Now the Baby Volcanion is even better because what he could do is he could double Steam Up, attach per turn, and Power Heater for the knockout while Power Ups with Volcanion EXs. So Justin could get a ton of energies on the field, and they receive Brooklyn Hill from Justin. Gonna find a Volcanion EX and put that down onto his field, taking full advantage of that. Searching for a water Pokemon, which Volcanion is a total type. We know that he has fire and water, so that is great for Justin to be able to use that Brooklyn Hill. But does Justin have 3 Fire Energies, or is he able to get 3 Fire Energies? I see 1 in hand, I see a Choice Band, I see a Flowstone, I see an Ultra Ball. He's got a bunch of stuff that he could easily take a knockout with a Power Heater, which I think is what you do here. You definitely try to go Power Heater. So there's Steam Up number 1. He's got an Ultra Ball. We see Field Blower getting rid of that Choice Band, and we see Sycamore discarding Ultra Ball. So we'll justify 2 more Fire Energies. I see 1. I see a Fear Belt, and with that Fear Belt, he'll actually be able to take a knockout here with 1 Steam Up, because with a with 1 Power Heater, he does 40, and he does 30, and then with a Steam Up, he does an extra 30 damage. There's the Fighting Fear Belt coming down, and he will be able to take a knockout. Power Heater does 20, with the Fighting Fear Belt 10, and with the Steam Up 30 more, so that is 60 damage. And if I remember correctly, that route does have 60 damage, so we'll see the Volcanion taking a knockout, and we'll see Justin go down to 5 prize cards and get a Volcanion almost ready to attack, and he's 2 energies, and maybe it has... Yeah, there we go. Okay, I was pretty sure it has 60 HP. We saw Justin saying, no, he's knocked out there, buddy. I did use a Steam Up. So on Chris's turn, he's definitely in trouble. He had the good turn 1. He got the Bridget set up. He was getting ready to go, and he was like, all right, I got this. And nope, don't have a rare candy Gardevoir. I guess I'll swing with the routes and miss. Okay. But let's see, can Chris find this or not? We see that my laptop was freezing up. I do apologize. I was using my laptop to record this, not my desktop. I did not want to bring this to Kenta's house. It is a monster to carry. And so unfortunately, it looks like my laptop was heating up at the time. But hopefully this does fix itself. We don't have to worry about it too much. I wonder if I should fast forward or by the time we do it. By the time I move my mouse over there, will it fix itself? Let's see here. Let me try to adjust the time. Okay, see, I was about to touch it and it already fixed itself. But we see that we did not miss anything. Chris was just debating what to do. We see a Flowstone going down to the Octillery. So it's good that we didn't miss anything. The routes and Fairy are still in the discard pile. Alright, so Flowstone going to the Octillery. And it's just all going to come down to, does he find a rare candy Gardevoir? We see a Choice Band going down to the routes. We see a Super Rod going to shuffle the Fairy in the routes. That's pretty much all he has in the discard pile. Nothing else has been played. And you got to think, since he's doing this, he has a Sycamore in hand. Yeah, because if you have an in, you definitely in. You don't want to draw back into the routes and Fairy just straight away. What you need to draw into is that rare candy Gardevoir. So I imagine we're going to see a Sycamore for Chris. Discard his hand, drawn 70 cards. And you gotta hope, if you're a fan of Gardevoir, he finds what he needs this turn. If he doesn't, this Volcanion deck might go unchecked, and Justin will go down to 4 prize cards, so Chris can even take a knockout here, or even swing with the Gardevoir. So, let's see. Sorry, he's gonna play Sycamore, discarding an in, and Is that a Guzma? Yeah, I think it's a Guzma, maybe. I'm still new to all these supporter cards, but I think it is a Guzma that I see in his discard pile. Alright, so there's Chris. I see a rare candy, but do I see an Ultra Ball? Oh boy, or Gardevoir. I see the rare candy, but oh my goodness, it looks like he does not have anything again. And it looks like he would not be able to evolve. And this is one of the downsides of the Gardevoir deck that we are slowly finding out. Yes, it seems broken. It seems Secret Spring is really good. Be able to attach multiple energies. Its attack is amazing, but not be able to find the rare candy plus a Gardevoir at the same time is what makes Stage 2 decks really bad going into Worlds or these current League Cups. You got these fast decks like Volcanion that can easily take it down. And we on to Justin's turn. Once again, all he needs is the Fire Energy, and he can take a knockout here with a Steam Up attack. So, not looking good. He has a Sycamore in hand. I think I see is that a Fire Energy? Maybe that's not a Fire Energy, because if that was a Fire Energy, he definitely would have Steam Up. So we'll see. Draws 7 new cards, and does he find a Fire Energy? And he does have multiple Fire Energies in his hand. So we'll see a Max Elixir as well. You see, it's a little bit different. But I think he discarded a Fire Energy without Steam Up in. So we see a Max Elixir, gonna put a Fire Energy on that bench Volcanion, and Justin almost has 2 really good attackers ready to go. The main one is that Turtonator with the Bright Flame. Be able to do that 160, and being really close to a knockout is really good. And we see that Justin instead go put that Max Elixir on the other Volcanion. This is a practice match, so nothing too crazy. It really doesn't matter. So we'll see a double Steam Up. And we'll see Justin use a Power Heater, taking a knockout, and going down to 4 prize cards. Now, this is bad if you're Chris, because Justin, all he has to do now is knock out 2 EXs. And Chris is down to 1 route, so even if he does get a rare candy Gardevoir, he's still in big trouble. He's got a Sycamore, a VS Seeker, 2 Fade Energies, rare candies, but no Ultra Ball or Gardevoirs, which is very unfortunate. And man, hopefully, okay, so right now it's not looking good for Chris, right? Like, Justin has 3 attackers ready to go. He's taking 2 prize cards, and Chris doesn't have anything. What we're going to see right now is a VS Seeker Fort in, putting Justin on a 4, but Justin's like, I don't really care. I'm good to go. I got multiple attackers. Yeah, that's pretty much the story. And this Volcanion is going to be very hard for Chris to deal with. It's got a ton of HP since it does have that Fighting Fury Belt. Now, Chris, if I remember correctly, he does have a 1 more Field Blower in his deck. He could get the Fighting Fury Belt off the active. But even then, it's a 130 HP Pokemon. It's still going to be very hard to take down with this Gardevoir. If he does find one, that's the key thing. Does he find a Gardevoir? Justin getting 4 cards. We see Chris going to get that 6. And I see a Rescue Stretcher. I don't even think he's found a... I mean, it's crazy to think that he hasn't found an Ultra Ball, he hasn't found a Curlia, he hasn't found a Love Ball, and okay, there's a Love Ball as soon as I speak of it. So Love Ball, will this grab a Route? Will it grab a Curlia? I guess one thing he could do is Energy Drive with the Tapu Lele doing 60. Not the best, but it is something. We see the Curlia coming out into play, and he does have a Rescue Stretcher in hand, so he could Rescue Stretcher for routes to put that in his hand. That is, I mean, it's an okay play. It's still not the best, because you're using a Rescue Stretcher, 1 Pokemon, instead of saving for Gardevoir. He's already down a Super Rod as well, and there we see the Rescue Stretcher coming out. And the reason why this is bad as well is that, you know, Chris can't rare candy this turn because he already evolved that route into Curlia. Alright, so will we see Chris retreat, send the Tapu Lele Energy Drive? If he does, he really does risk it getting knocked out. Because all Justin needs is 2 Fire Energies, 1 to retreat the Volcanion, and 1 to Steam Up with to take a knock on the Tapu Lele. It only has 170 HP. Bright Flame does 160, plus 30 is 190, and it will easily knock out that Tapu Lele. And that's what we're going to see. We're going to see Chris send in the Tapu Lele. We're going to see Energy Drive for 60 and put a little dent in this Volcanion. And even if Justin doesn't find a knockout, he's not really going to care. It's just a Volcanion. And I think he has plenty of energy in his hand. Did I see a Lightning Energy in Justin's hand? I hope that wasn't a Lightning Energy. If that was a Lightning Energy, that's going to be really bad. Because okay, he's got words on it at least. Alright, so I did not know he had a... Oh, why didn't they tell me they had this? I didn't know he had a proxy of Tapu Lele drawn on there. I could have easily grabbed the Tapu Lele and put it in his deck. Oh, Justin. Alright, so he's going to use the Tapu Lele. Maybe we'll find Olympia. I don't even know if Justin knows what's in his Volcanion deck. I see a Lysander going to his hand. Looks like he's actually going to grab a... I mean, he's got 4 Fire Energies in hand. So it looks like he's going to have a Sycamore. I was going to say, maybe if he had Olympia, he could search it out, but grabbing Sycamore is not a bad play either. I mean, like I said, he could just he could actually take a knockout with the Volcanion EX this turn, which I think is a better play. And we see a Lysander instead come into his hand, and what he wants to do here is take out that Kirlia, saying, hey, I know you're trying to manly evolve this Kirlia, but I'm not going to let you. I'm just going to take a knockout here. He can just knock out the routes. That's not a bad play either. Just use 1 Fire Energy. But he's going to bring out the Kirlia. We're going to see a double Steam Up here. Maybe touching the, maybe keep the 2 Fire Energies in his hand. So we'll see double Steam Up. And we'll see a Power Heater for the knockout. He wants to keep as many Fire Energies as he can in his hand, just in case he needs to knock out a Gardevoir GX next turn. Alright, so he has, I think it's a Fairy Energy. What is going on? I thought Justin said his only proxy card was a Kukui for Gallade, but it seems like he has a Lightning Energy and a Fairy Energy. Hopefully that Fairy Energy does have writing on it like that Tapu Lele does. Don't know why this Tapu Lele is not a Psychic Energy. That would make a little bit more sense. But we'll see. On to Chris' turn. I mean, you got to think if you're Chris, this is pretty much game. There's really not much else he can do. I mean, yeah, he can get a Guardia out, but Justin's up like 3 prize cards. He has 3 Fire Pokemon to set up. We'll see a retreat into the Tapu Lele, and it looks like we're just going to see another Energy Drive. Doesn't even have a Rare Candy Gardevoir in hand. So we'll see the 60 damage come down. On to Justin's turn, he's got a Fighting Fury. He's got a Fairy Energy. I don't even know what that is right now. Looks like he wants to attach a Fire Energy to the Volcanion, the Turtonator. And if he attaches to the Turtonator, one interesting thing he could do is take a knockout with Bright Flame. But no, we're going to see a Power Heater for 30, just saying, you know what, whatever. I'm just going to peck at you for 30 and be fine with this. I'm fine. Take a knockout this turn. Yeah, he will take a knockout this turn. He'll do another 60, taking a knockout. Chris will take a prize card, but Justin, he can just sit in Volcanion and just swing for a knockout, doing 130 with 1 Steam Up is enough for a knockout. Then he could easily knock out a Gardevoir GX with that bench Turtonator. So it's not looking good for our good friends at Gardevoir GX Land. So we'll see a knockout. I imagine Justin will promote the Volcanion with the Floatstone. It does have that free treat. Just making sure he makes the correct move. That's what you always want to do, Pokemon. You want to sit in your free treater and think about what you want to do before you actually do it. See, right now he's thinking about it, but he could sit in the Volcanion immediately and just draw the card and think about what he's doing, because that one card he draws could make a big difference in his play, and we are going to see the Volcanion EX come up with the 3 Fire Energy. Either way, I think this is a fine play. He has the 1 Fire Energy in hand. He'll be able to use Steam Up, take a knockout. We see a VS go into his hand, and what he could hypothetically do is just a Lysander that routes and just take a knock on it, saying, hey, you're not getting a Gardevoir out this turn. I'm just going to win. Knock out your Lele next turn. We see a Staryu in his hand. Now, he could get the Starmie down and use a Space Beacon. That's not a bad thing either. Being able to use Space Beacon in Volcanion deck is actually really strong. Just be able to get those 2 Fire Energies for their Steam Ups is really, really good. And actually, Justin doesn't have to Steam Up here. He can just take a knockout with the Fighting Fury because it is 140 plus the 30 from earlier. Earlier is 170, which is how much HP Tapu Lele has. But I wonder if Justin's going to go for a Lysander here. I think the Lysander is not a bad play at all, and that's what we're going to see happen. We're going to see a Lysander bring up that routes and just like, whatever, you're not going to have a Gardevoir GX this game, I'm sorry. And we see the Auxiliary being promoted to the Act spot. Oh my goodness, Chris just top deck a Rare Candy. Oh my goodness. Oh man, that is so unfortunate. Hitting the Rare Candy, he has the Gardevoir in hand, but will not be able to get that down this turn. Oh my goodness. So we see Ultra from Chris. Going to discard 2 cards from his hand. But does he even have any new routes left? I'm pretty sure Justin has knocked out 4 routes. I know he has 1 more in there, hypothetically, with a Super Rod, because he did Super Rod, went back into his deck. And he does have, I think he already played his Rescue Stretcher as well, so yeah, it's not looking good for our good friends. There's probably 2 left in his deck, and there we see a route. It could be 2, yeah, because the Rescue Stretcher 1, Super Rod went back in the deck, so there could be 2 in there, if I did the math correctly in my head. But we'll see a routes coming out to the field. Okay. I mean, if you're Chris, you cannot promote the Tapu Lele this turn. That is crazy. You promote the Tapu Lele this turn. That Volcanion can just retreat into a Turtonator and easily take a knockout. It does 160 with Bright Flame. That is enough for a knockout. So we see Chris, I think he used Abyssal Hand for 1 card. I think he's saying right now that things aren't going so well with his hands. But this is best 2 out of 3, and they're just gonna play it out, see what happens. No need to scoop here, no time limits, but it does kind of help if they scoop, because we really don't want to sit here and see nothing really happen. But hey, it does happen sometimes. Maybe Chris gets some outpull of Miracle, maybe get a rare candy Gardevoir. Let's see if he gets a DCE and a Fairy Energy. He'll be 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. I mean, he will have enough for a Volcanion if he finds a Field Blower. Actually, no, because he put down the Routes this turn. And we're going to see the Tapu Lele come up. We're going to see it swing. And then all Justin has to do is retreat and Bright Flame for 160. So, yeah, Justin's going to retreat to Turtonator, take a knockout. It's really not going to matter. And Justin will go up 1 game. But like I said, this is best 2 out of 3. So we'll see another game with this Volcanion versus the Gardevoir deck. And we got to hope that Chris does get set up here. He needs to find those Gardevoirs. He had a great turn 1. He did find what he needed. He found the Lele for the Bridget, getting out the 2 Remoraid, or the two routes in the Remoraid, and he got the turn 2 Octillery, which is unfortunate, not able to find that rare candy Gardevoir, which is a very bad news if you're Chris. Now, one thing I was thinking about watching these videos is maybe just cutting the Octillery line and instead just putting like 4 Trainer Spells in there, because with Gardevoir GX, you do have its GX ability. It's called Twilight GX, and you shuffle 10 cards from your discard pile back into your deck. So after you use your Trainer Spell, you can shuffle those back into your deck and make it where Garbodor doesn't do a ton of damage. So that's actually probably not a bad idea. But then late game, when you get in out of 1, you can't use the Abyssal Hand to drop to 5 cards to be able to use your ability plus attach per turn. So there's key differences in these different ideas of mine when playing Gardevoir GX. I don't know which one's better. We haven't played Gardevoir GX too much. We've only played, this is literally the 3rd game that we played with Gardevoir GX, so not really sure how to play it. But Turtonator, Volcanion looking so strong right now. Once you get that turn with Kiawe, just threatening 4 energies on a Turtonator is really fantastic. And yeah, that's all you can really say about this. But we'll see. Kid Chris find a Gardevoir this game. He did not find a single one last game at all. But even if he did, Justin did have an easy way to knock out that Gardevoir GX. So both players are going to shuffle up on to game number 2. And guys, be excited for next week. We're playing some new decks, but we're definitely going to update a bunch of decks. One of the big decks I keep saying about this is going to be Mega Rayquaza versus Metagross. That seems really fun. We might see Mega Rayquaza versus Gardevoir GX. I feel like Mega Rayquaza just wins that matchup really easy, though. There is Darkrai. Darkrai seems good, but it doesn't seem great, unfortunately, after playing with it. We only played that 1 game with it, but even then, it doesn't seem like it's that very strong. You got the Garbodor decks that we could show off, maybe Drampa. We got Zoroark. We can record Zoroark with Drampa. And there's a bunch of different things we could do. So if you're watching this video on Saturday, that is when we're recording these Burning Shadows videos. So leave a comment down below. We'll try our best to record some of the best ideas. And we're definitely asked this on our Facebook page as well. And you'll have seen that yesterday on Friday when I made the Friday post. But yeah, both players are going to set up. Sorry guys, it takes a second sometimes to shuffle up, and you know, that's the only unfortunate thing of playing in real life. It does take a second to shuffle your decks. Get ready. I know somebody suggests playing 2x speed, but I want to make sure that we understand everything that's going on. And here we go. So Justin starting that Staryu, which does have that free retreat, which is fantastic. And Chris starting that Routes 1 more time, but it does not look like he has a yeah, it does not look like he has a bridge in hand. He does have N. He's got a DCE, Floatstone, but yeah, no bridge or Ultra Ball to say it. Now, if he does have a rare candy Gardevoir, he still wants to in here, because if he doesn't in here, Justin can easily take a knockout on this route. So we see a Floatstone, DCE, and an N. Both players will shuffle up against 6 new cards. Now, of course, Chris wants to find multiple routes this turn. And if he does find a route, he actually wants to retreat into it, because if he retreats into it, he can basically save the Floatstone and DCE for being knocked out that turn. So it's not a bad idea at all. I think this is what Chris is like contemplating right now. He's like, well, do I keep the DC and routes in my hand? I say no. You keep them on the routes in the active spot. so that way you don't draw back into them. You need more ways to draw into the routes. So I think keeping the Flowstone and the DC is a fine play. I don't think you have to worry about that too much, because you need to find another Pokemon. If you don't, you can lose this game. You could lose this turn. So that's a key thing to note when you're playing this, and you're definitely in a weird situation. And nope, I'm going to put the DC back in his deck. He is going to keep the Flowstone. I think you're fine either way with that DC be attached to the active. Like I said, you really just want to have more outs to find routes, and with that DC in there, there's one less card. There's one more card to draw into that is not a routes or a Love Ball or an Ultra Ball. So both players are going to get 6 new cards, and what Justin really needs is a turn 1 Kiawe, maybe some Max Elixirs. He could go the Volcanion route. He has a bunch of different options he can do with this deck. We see that, is that a Fairy Energy again? I can't tell if that's Fire Energies or Fairy Energies. So we see a Love Ball from Chris. Gonna search out a routes, I imagine, and we're probably gonna see a retreat into the routes for the turn. And there are the routes coming down. Like I said, you really don't want the active routes of the Floatstone being knocked out. And it looks like the routes is actually gonna go back in this hand. Maybe grabbing a... Okay, no, I definitely think you grab a routes here. Even if you have, like... Yeah, like, you have to grab routes here. Especially if you don't have another way to search out a Pokemon. So we'll see Chris probably retreat to the routes and just pass. Really no need to... I mean, you could say the Flowstone routes so he can choice band the bench one. And it looks like he's going to shuffle up after finding the Love Ball. Okay. And I wonder what Justin's hand is. If he's got a Baby Volcanion, some Fire Energies, maybe another Fighting Fury Belt, he could easily take a knock on this routes and start taking the advantage that we saw in game number 1, where the very fast Volcanion deck can easily take it on his Gardevoir deck. So, do we see a pass from Chris? And nope, going to see that retreat that I was talking about. We'll see a pass on to Justin's turn. And it looks like Justin just top pick a Volcanion and a Fighting Fury Belt. Oh boy, and a Fire Energy. Does he have a Brooklet Hill? If he has a Brooklet Hill, okay, Max Elixir. Oh man. He's got a Max Elixir plus Brooklet Hill. That is going to be very bad for Chris. So there's a Fire Energy coming out from the Max Elixir. Justin's not going to worry about that turn with Kiawe. He wants to take a knockout here. We see an Ultra Ball. Can discard 2 cards from his hand. Looks like he's going to discard a Stretcher and a Fire Energy. And with this, he's probably going to grab a Lele and just like try to find a Volcanion EX. Now he could go straight for Volcanion here, but if he doesn't have a Spore card, is that? What? Okay, that's another Tapu Lele. Once again, Justin, don't know why you didn't ask me for Tapu Leles. We have plenty floating around. There was like 5 different decks built. We had like 10 Leles on us. So we see a Tapu Lele gonna come down, gonna search for a second more. He's gonna be able to discard his hand, drawing 7 new cards, and what he needs to find is a Volcanion and another Fire Energy. If he does this, he'll be able to take a knockout while getting 2 more Fire Energies on the field. Thanks to that Power Heater. Now, he does have a couple options to draw into this Volcanion. He does play Brooklet Hill. He does play Ultra Balls. He can just manually draw into it. He's got 3 different outs here. So I see a Fire Energy, a Switch, and I see a Volcanion. So he will take a knockout this turn. But does he see 2 Volcanions or a Turtonator? Oh, man. So we see Volcanion, number 1, coming down to the field. And is that another Volcanion? Okay, Baby Volcanion. That's still fine. You really don't want to Power Heater or to a Tapu Lele. It's not that bad of an idea, but you definitely want to power up one of your fire Pokemon attackers. So we'll see a Power Heater for the knockout, and Justin will go down to 5 prize cards. They receive the Volcanion, get Energy, and the other Volcanion as well, or Volcanion EX and the Baby Volcanion. So on Chris's turn, this could go really downhill bad real quick if Chris does not find a Rare Candy, Gardevoir, and more Pokemon. Well, I mean, as long as he finds a Rare Candy Gardevoir, he can't... I don't think he can really lose the next turn. There's the Rare Candy into the Gardevoir, so he does have that turn to Gardevoir coming out. He'll be able to use that Secret Spring ability. Maybe get the Infinite Force off, so we do see a Fairy Energy in hand. And it looks like he's trying to contemplate playing the Ultra Ball. I think you... I guess, well, you get rid of the Fighting Fury Belt, so 3, 6, 9, 12... I mean, I guess it does give... I think you want to keep the Fury Belt on the active, actually. And the reason why you want to do this is because Justin can now put a Flowstone on that active Volcanion and retreat it a little bit more easily. He really doesn't care about taking knockouts right now with the Fighting Fury Belt, since it is a Gardevoir GX with 230 HP. It's going to be a little hard for Justin to take a knockout with that. But does Chris find another Pokemon? Do we see another routes come down? Maybe a Remoraid? We see a Stretcher. The Stretcher will grab him another route so he can put that guy down. And he really needs to get like 2 Secret Springs attack or abilities off every turn to help knock out these high HP Pokemon. So we do see attachment for his turn. He is going to Infinite Force for 3, 6, 90 damage. and he will be able to two-shot this Volcanion. I still think he should have kept the Fighting Spirit on the active, just to prevent Justin from retreating this Volcanion if he finds a Flowstone. But it might not matter. Justin might just end up going for like some Steam Ups and just Power Heater to get more Fire Energies in play. That is not a bad play either. So let's see what Chris has here. Looks like he's contemplating his hand what to do. Maybe he has an Ultra Ball or a Love Ball to find a Rim Raid, because that's what he really needs. If he finds a Rim Raid this turn, he'll be able to get Artillery out, start using Abyssal Hand, maybe draw to a Rare Candy Gallade. But then you kind of want a Rare Candy Secret Spring Gardevoir. Oh man, there's just so much going on in this Gardevoir deck, which I think is what's going to make the deck struggle just a little bit. I mean, on paper, it seems fine. It seems like a fantastic deck, but it does need to accomplish a lot. So we see Justin just going to play Sycamore. He's like, whatever, I'm just going to discard my hand, draw 7 cards. I want to find another Volcanion, get another Volcanion, or a Turtonator. That's not a bad play either. Either one is fine. But does he find a Brooklyn Hill, Ultra Ball, or Volcanion? I do see a baby Volcanion in hand, but is that a Volcanion X? You got to think of it as a Volcanion X. He immediately just evolves into it. He does have a Fire Energy, and you can see right now he's trying to contemplate where to put that at. So gonna put on the bench Volcanion. That's fine. He only has 1 fire to discard pile. He doesn't have 2, so he only has 1 attachment with this Power Heater. I mean, what he could do is just Fire Energy on that bench Volcanion and be able to Power Heater this turn. What are you talking about right now? I think they're talking about has he attached energy return. He has not attached energy return. He definitely has an energy attachment he could do right now. Hopefully they figure that out. So see if I go to the bench, Volcanion EX. Chris has already played one Field Blower. He has 2. And let's think, what card is that? Is that another Tapu Lele? I'm going to freak out. There's another Tapu Lele. He does have a Fire Energy, so we'll attach that to the Volcanion EX, which I think is a fine play. It makes it where he's able to Volcanion Heat for the knockout next turn, okay. And we will see, where does the Fire Energy go? It's going to go on the Volcanion. I guess it literally did not matter. Alright, so on a Chris' turn, you can take a knockout on the active Volcanion. Its Gardevoir has taken 50 HP, so 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, so it's 180 HP left. Okay, which means, let's see, 140, 170. He still needs, Justin will still need another Volcanion to Fire Energy to take a knock on it, okay? So, we see a Routes hit the field. And does he find a Rare Candy Routes this turn? He needs to find that and get the second Gardevoir online. And we're slowly starting to have a game here, which is great news if you're a fan of Gardevoir GX. So, see, Chris, does he have a Rare Candy Gardevoir in hand? Looks like he is contemplating a Tapu Lele. Going to use the Wonder Tag. And what will he find here? He could maybe go for Bridget. Just search for Routes in a Routes and a Remoraid. That's not too bad, because that's really all he needs. He just needs to find more base Pokemon this turn, and I think that's what he's doing right now. I see him eyeballing that Routes at the back of his deck, and there's a Bridget there too, so he might be trying to go for this, but he might not have the 4th Routes. So that could be a bummer for Chris. Not be able to have that 4th Routes. You're kind of committed to getting all Gardevoirs out at that point, and he's looking at his hand. I think that is a problem. I think he prizes other Routes, so he'll not be able to get 4 Routes out this game. He will only have to have 3. Which already puts Chris in a bad situation, because Chris is only going to be allowed to have maybe 2 Gardevoirs at one time. Maybe 3 if he doesn't want to get the Gallade down. And it looks like, I don't know what he grabbed. I think he just grabbed it in with that. Just going to end, just trying to get both players new cards. The main thing Chris wants to find here is another Routes for sure. A Routes and Remoraid. If he can find, actually just a Remoraid. If he had the Routes, he would have grabbed the Bridget that was in his deck, of course. But we'll see both players set up. Like I said, Chris wants to find a Remoraid, and all Justin really wants to find is multiple Fire Energies. As long as he keeps finding Fire Energies, maybe a Switch or Flowstone to get the Volcanion out of the active and take a knockout that bench Volcanion next. Go down to 3 prize cards. He's going to be looking pretty well. Alright, so see Justin finding 2 Fire Energies, a VS Sticker, and a 3rd Fire Energy. Well, that's not what he really wants. Oh, man. Okay, but we'll see Chris. Does he have a Rare Candy Gardevoir? Okay. If he does, he's going to be looking good. He'll have 2 Secret Springs to use on that bench Gardevoir if that's the case. So, we'll see a Rare Candy into, which one is it? It's Gallade or Gardevoir, and it is going to be a Gardevoir. I'm pretty sure I saw a Gallade in his hand, but he does have 2 Secret Springs. but it doesn't look like he has any fair energies to actually use that ability. So we'll see a knockout. Chris will go down to 5 prize cards, and Justin will probably put the Staryu. It does have that free treat, which is really nice. And he can maybe get the Space Beacon online. And we see Justin pull up the Starmie. I think Justin was like making sure he knew what the Starmie did. Oh man, that's really funny. I mean, regardless, you send in the Staryu, it has that free retreat. And like I said earlier, you want to send the free retreat, or the top card you draw could break or make the whole thing different. But we will see the Volcanion next coming up. Right now, it's doing 140. With one Steam Up, it's 170. Oh, there's, I guess that's a Starmie there. My goodness, we had a Starmies in there too as well. They were in the Greninja deck. What is going on here, guys? So that's a Starmie, that's a Fair Energy. Sitting on Justin's deck. I thought I saw a Fair Energy in there. So we'll see a Steam Up discarding Fire Energy. Okay. He needs to find one more Volcanion, and he has a Space Beacon to allow him to get 2 Fire Energies. He does have a Sycamore in his discard pile, and it's just showing he has 1 Fire Energy in there. There's 2 Fire Energies in there, but he's only used 1 Power Heater right now, so he's only swinging for 170. Alright, there's a dice showcase. Now he's only used 1. We'll see a VS Sticker for Sycamore can justify the Ultra Ball, a Brooklet Hill, or another Volcanion X. And there's a Brooklet Hill, so he will be able to take a knockout this turn. And going down to 3 prize cards. Alright, so we see a Brooklet Hill come down and not finding Ultra Ball or Volcanion, but the Brooklet Hill saving him, which is fantastic. And that's why we love Brooklet Hill in these Volcanion decks nowadays. So Volcanion will come down. We will see a Space Beacon, discarding the energy, discarding a card from his hand, get 2 basic energies out of his discard pile, which is going to be those 2 Fire Energies. He gets Steam Up with 1 and attach the other to anybody he wants to. And I wonder what he's going to attach it to. Maybe the other Volcanion with nothing on it. So he has Max Elixir going to look at top cards of his deck. He already has a bunch of Fire Energies, but nope, the 6th card is going to be a Fire Energy. So we will see Justin be able to use that Space Beacon, get 2 Fire Energies out, attach 1 to the bench, and Power Heat and Steam Up for a knockout, and going down to 3 price cards. So Justin's already looking fantastic. Chris, unfortunately, did not find multiple Fair Energies to abuse that Secret Spring ability. He doesn't even have a rim rate to pull this off. So we'll see just a second Power Heater. He doesn't even use Space Beacon, but he really needs to use Space Beacon this turn. So we'll see Space Beacon. Wait, does that Volcanion active only have two energies? If that's the case, he need to attach 1 to the active. And he only had 2 the whole time. Oh my goodness. So he definitely needed the Starmie. I thought the whole time Volcanion had 3. That's my fault. So we'll see Volcanion Heat for the knockout. He'll go down to 3 prize cards. And can Chris retaliate? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. If he finds a DCE, a Fair Energy, and a Field Blower, he can take a knockout this turn with that Gardevoir GX. So see Gardevoir GX coming to the X spot. Remember, Infinite Force does 30 damage times amount of energy on both Pokemon. With the DCE, that is 60, 6 plus another, 3, 6, 9, 90, sorry. Because 3 times 3 is 9, add a 0, 90. So that's, yep, there's your math for your day. So that'd be 180 damage, which will knock out this Volcanion EX. And now we see Chris, he does have a Rim Rate in hand. So I'm going to put that Rim Rate down, which is what he really needs to start getting. He needs to get this Octillery online. We see an Ultra Ball. Going to discard 2 cards from his hand. And let's see what does he find here. Maybe if he has a rare candy, he could go for a second Gardevoir. There's 2 Curlius just sitting here staring at him, literally right at the bottom of his deck, which is really funny to see. As soon as he picks it up, there's 2 Curlius like, hey, do you need us? We're here. We're ready to go if needed. And it looks like the Curlius are needed. Oh, man. They're there at the bottom of the deck just ready to go. They must have been a Psychic. I guess that's why they're Psychic Pokemon. So we'll see a VS Sticker for N. Both players will shuffle up. Chris will find 5, while Justin only finds 3. Now, I say only just a little bit, because Justin has that Stein with Space Beacon. So even if he gets in down to bad 3 cards, Justin can just retreat and Power Heater this turn, getting more energies on his field. And he does not really care about Chris inning here, because it's not a Hex Maniac. So that's the key difference here. There's no Hex Maniac shutting down Justin's side of the field. But does Chris find what he needs? And I think that answer is going to be a no. I don't see a Fair Energy in hand, so once again, he'll not be able to attack. Infinite Force needs a Fair Energy to pull an attack off. Oh my goodness. So we might just see another pass. We could see a DC go to the bench Curlia. And I don't think that's a bad play either. Just like getting that Curlia ready to go to a Gardevoir is nice. And Justin is sitting here texting. Oh my goodness. Alright, so we see a pass on to Justin's turn. Alright, so let's see. Now remember, that Volcanion cannot attack. It did use Power Heater. which means it cannot attack. But does Justin have a way to retreat out of the act spot? Does he have like a Guzma, maybe an Olympia? It looks like he's just going to manually retreat here. Oh, he has a switch in hand. Oh my goodness. So he can just switch into the baby Volcanion. Maybe use a Steam Artillery this turn. That's not a bad thing to do. If he has a Fire Energy, he can Steam Artillery, just do 100 straight up and 2-shot this Gardevoir. He still has a switch in hand that he hasn't used just yet. He kind of needs to pick that switch out of discard pile if that's the case. Okay, so he's gonna. Okay, so now he's gonna manually retreat. What about the switch, Justin? Looks like we forgot some gameplay here. So see Justin manually retreat. Still have the switch in his discard pile. Okay. Because now Justin has Ultra Ball. But if he had a switch in hand, he can just discard the Ultra Ball with the switch with the Ultra Ball. So we see a what? Okay, so he's using. Okay, I thought he was using Kiawe right now. So what he did was not use a Kiawe. He used Space Beacon to discard the Kiawe. Remember that Kikui is a Kiawe. He's gonna get 2 Fire Energies out of discard pile. Okay. I don't know why he's not getting the switch out of his discard pile. Justin, what do you can past tense Justin hear me? I don't think so. He's even going to Ultra Ball discard both these Fire Energies away. If he had a switch in hand, he can just discard the switch instead. Oh my goodness, this is so ugly. Oh man. Oh my goodness, this is so funny to see. Justin played a switch and then forgot that he played it, and instead manually retreated, and both players forgot the switches in the discard pile. Oh my goodness, this is why you don't test Memphis players, guys. Alright, so Justin he's going to look at his discard pile and see the switch in there, but still not grab it out of there. He's just going to keep it in the discard pile. Why was I not watching this game? So he double steam up. I guess he's using a Brooklyn Hill right now. He just grabbed Zach. Okay, yeah, Brooklyn Hill. Grab a third Volcanion EX, okay. And does he have another Fire Energy in his hand to attach per turn? If not, he can still attach 1 Fire Energy to that bench Volcanion. They ever see a VS Sticker for Sycamore, just going to discard his hand and draw 7 new cards. And I guess the switch did not end up mattering, I guess, hypothetically. It still would have been discarded. It doesn't change anything. And he's going to find 7 new cards. He does find another Fire Energy. I don't think you go for a third Steam Up here. I think you just, like, put an energy attachment. Okay, nope, going to go for third Steam Up. Okay, so he's going to do 3, 6, 9, 110. Okay. Well, I guess with this, he can take a knockout next turn with just a regular Volcanion Heat attack. So we'll see 2 Fire Energy put in play. I'd rather have attached that energy and maybe have 2 Volcanions ready to go next turn. Just me, but still, Chris is in terrible situation. He is now staring down another Volcanion. That's a 9EX attacker. He has no energies to play. He has like a Gardevoir and a Curlia, and that's it. Like, it's not looking good for Chris at all. He does have a Gardevoir in hand, so you can put down a Mitch Curlia, but I wonder how many Float Stones are left in his deck. It cannot be too many. He's already played one that has since been knocked out or discarded. I can't remember what happened. And he's got a DC in hand. It looks like that's not a switch. I know that for sure. So we'll see the Gardevoir coming down. He'll be able to use 2 Secret Spring abilities this turn to get 2 Fairies in play. He only, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Yeah, if he just gets a DC and a Fairy, he'll be able to take a knockout on the Volcanion, but then he has committed a DC and Fairy that could be knocked out next turn. So you see Sycamore for Chris, going to discard his hand. Oh, discarding a Gallade and a rare Candy to get 7 new cards. And these better be the best 7 cards that Chris has seen in his life. And he does have 2 Fair Energies, okay? 3, 6, 9, 12. He can only do 120 with that Gardevoir if he double Secret Springs to the active. So that's the unfortunate part about Chris's turn right now. Oh, man. And Guardy does have a 2 retreat. I think it's a 2 retreat cost. Let me make sure. Make sure. And yeah, it is a 2 retreat cost, so you can't even attach 1 retreat. So you see 1 to the active, 1 to the bench. And what we might see here is actually a Twilight GX to get 10 cards from discard pile to your deck. This is going to be the first time we see a Twilight happen in 3 series of games. Will we see Gardevoir GX use his ability or not? Oh boy. Will we see it happen? He does have a Field Blower hand. Okay, so Field Blower, get rid of the Brooklyn Hill and the Fighting Through off the bench. Okay. Oh man, I'd be so happy to see Twilight GX. Come on, baby. Twilight GX, get those 10 cards out of your discard pile. Don't forget to use it, Chris. Come on, make me happy. And nope, just going to Infinite Force for 369. Alright, so never mind. No Twilight GX. I am very sad now. Man, he could have Twilight GX. Got a bunch of cards back out of his discard file. I just wanted one Twilight GX to happen out of these games. Oh, man. Chris better win this game, so maybe next turn he can use that Twilight GX. But his game's not over yet. He can still use Twilight GX's game. But on to Justice's turn. If he gets... let's see. So he has 110. So he has 120 HP left. Okay. If he gets 3 Steam Ups and a Fighting Fear Belt, he can take a knockout this turn. Or he gets attached to Volcanion and retreat. Because Volcanion's retreat costs 2, you do 130, which is 240, and then you take a knockout, which is great as well. So you see a Brooklyn Hill come down, Justin cannot use that. He literally cannot use the Brooklyn Hill because he does not have the bench spot. So if he starts searching his deck randomly, you call him a cheater. Alright, so we see the Space Speaking discarding the Ultra Ball. Going to get 2 Fire Energies as discard pile. Remember, just look at Justin's bench. It is pretty ugly, but there's Starmie and a Tapu Lele if you're just now randomly joining the video. So he's going to put 2 cards in his hand. I mean, he can take a knockout pretty easily this turn and go down to 1 prize card. So you see a Fire Energy attached to that Volcanion, okay. He's got 2 Steamers right now. He's got a yellow card in his hand, which I think is another Tapu Lele. I don't know why he didn't ask for Tapu Lele's. So we see a Lysander actually bringing up the Remoraid. Oh my goodness, just saying, you know what, I'm just going to take a knock on the Remoraid and go down to 2 prize cards, and all I have to do next turn is knock on an EX or GX. So we'll see a double Steam Up and then a Power Heater to get 2 more Fire Energies into play. And Chris is now, and he is in super bad trouble. He does have, okay, Chris, do not send the hurt Gardevoir. You definitely send the Gardevoir with the DC on it. Alright, so we see the Gardevoir with the DC on it come up. Now, Chris, he's still in trouble here. He definitely needs an N. 369. He's taking a knockout on this Volcanion. There is no stopping that Gardevoir from taking a knockout. It's doing 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. It's doing 150 damage, plus a 90, 240. That Volcanion's deader than dead. But what he needs to find this turn is a Lysander to bring up a bench. Volcanion next, take a knockout on that. Maybe Chris swings again. Then maybe just swings again. Then maybe Chris brings another Volcanion. And then Justin whiffs or something, and then Chris wins that way. That is what he needs to do to actually win. He needs a Lysander this turn. If he just attacks with his Gardevoir GX, he leaves Justin a chance to get a Volcanion Heat off and leave both of his Gardevoirs ready to take a knockout. So we see a Secret Spring attached to the active. 3, 6, 9. Okay, a DCB attached to the active. And an N. Chris is saying, you know what, I am taking a knockout here no matter what, but this is not the correct play at all. Because what can happen now is, Chris will take a knockout. That is for sure going to happen. He's going to take a knockout going on a 4, but the Justice is just going to swing. He doesn't even need a Volcanion Heat. He can do 130 and say, you know what, Chris? I can knock out any of your Pokemon the following turn, and you can't take enough prize cards in 1 turn, and I'm going to win this game. Chris does not play any healing cards like Max Potion, Pokemon Student Ladies, and Olympias, so he cannot heal this damage. It is on there forever. No super scoop ups. It's there forever. So Bullpers, Justice is going to find 2. Chris is going to find 5. And I mean, what Chris really needs right now is another route. Because the only way he can really win is he puts down a route, next turn hits a Rare Candy Gardevoir, and then that Gardevoir takes a knock on a Volcanion, not this active one. Alright, because both Gardevoirs are going to be in range of being knocked out in 2 turns. So does Chris find a route? He finds a Remoraid. It's not what he needs. Not what he needs at all. What Chris should have done, instead of going crazy attaching energies to the active, he should have put those energies on a Tapu Lele. Even then, it's not looking good because Justin does have a Space Beacon ability to get multiple energies out of his discard pile. We see a Fighting Field going to the active. It's doing 140. If he gets a triple Steam Up here, 3, 6, 9, he'll do 230 exactly. But he needs a triple Steam Up, which might seem hard, but he only needs 1 energy because he has that Space Beacon ability thanks to the Starmie on the bench. So even though you can't see it, it is that Fairy Energy staring at us right now. So we'll see Justin probably play a Lele. What card did he just grab? Okay, that was a Space Beacon. Alright, so Space Beacon, discarding whatever that was. Oh my goodness, and we see the Fire Energy, so he'll be able to swing for 230 damage, take an exact knockout, just 140 plus a 30, which is 90, 230 HP, and that is going to be the game. Justin will take it 2-0, and Justin will take down the Gardevoir GX deck. So one thing that we're slowly learning about Gardevoir GX is maybe our build, maybe overall, is still a slow deck. It is a very good card, don't get me wrong. Secret Spring and Infinite Force is a very strong combination, but when you have these fast decks like Greninja, like Volcanion, you can easily take down the Gardevoir GX decks, and that's something you have to think about going forward if you are playing these League Ups or at the World Championship. But guys, hope you enjoyed this video. We'll see you Monday for a new testing Burning Shadows, and Monday should be Metagross versus Mega Quads if everything works out correctly. But guys, hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any suggestions or decks you want to see, leave them down below in the comments, and we'll definitely look at those. But guys, hope you have a great day. Alrighty, bye. Alright guys, I just want to give a quick shout out to our 3 sponsors, 60 Cards, Yeti Gaming, and the Pokemon Company International. Links to everything will be down below in the description. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Alrighty.